Hey, Fireman Tim here again at the Mini Wargaming Club, and today I'm going to be showing you a demo on Heavy Gear Blitz. If you remember my last video, I talked just generally on this new wargame made right here in Canada by TIm called Heavy Gear Blitz. Giant robot combat mayhem. Great game, great mechanics, lots of fun. So I'm going to demo for you right now a very basic game using the basic rules, just to give you an idea of what some of the mechanics are. So if I skip some things, don't go emailing me and commenting and miss stuff. I'm giving you the basics right now. What I have before me right here are two general purpose squads, one north, one south. They're essentially identical. There's a few special items in the armies. The commanders of the north and south have a little upgraded gun called the medium auto cannon as opposed to the light auto cannons that the grunts have, and each one has a specialist weapon. The north has a bazooka, while the south has a bazooka, while the north has a snub cannon. Snub cannon just fires a big nasty round, puts a big hole in whatever it hits. So I've kind of fast forwarded here. I've gone to something like a turn 2, and just to show you some of the basic mechanics. First is the turn system. The turn system is a back and forth alternating turn, but when it's your turn, you get to move one squad. You could have multiple squads on the board, but you move one squad when it's your turn. You move that squad, you do your actions with that squad, you can fire anytime during your movement, and when you're done, it goes to the other player. He moves a squad, and it's back and forth, moving and acting with squads until the turn is over. So there's no getting caught in a massive swarm of everything moving on you, shooting you, you're dying, you don't get to shoot back. There's none of that. A lot more in-depth turn sequence than some of the games that you may have played. The second thing I want to talk about is movement. These gears are special in that they have two movement systems. They have the legs that they run and move and walk on, and there's also these little wheels that deploy in the back. It's kind of like rollerblades on robots. The second movement system allows them to move a lot faster, but you're less maneuverable. In other words, it means you can't make as many turns and changing of facings on the board as you could with if you were just in your ground movement mode. How do you keep track of all this? Well, Heavy Gear Blitz has come up with a really neat idea. They've created what's called Blitz dice. Blitz dice you place behind your gear when you move it, and there's 6 different actions on a Blitz dice. There is stationary, the stop sign. He is not moving, so you get to keep track of, well, if I'm shooting at him, what kind of modifiers are going to affect my shot. If you see these stationary objects are easier to hit than moving. You have the arrow here. This would be for the first mode is combat speed. That is walker combat speed. Combat speed would be walking or jogging. There is a top speed. There's a T on there. That would be for walker mode top speed. You're running. If you deploy your wheels, there's a little chevron that goes over top. That would be combat speed ground mode. So you're moving faster, harder to hit. And then if you go at top speed ground mode with your wheels deployed, you're going full out, pedal to the metal. Hard to hit, hard to hit, hard to be hit, and hard to maneuver. But I'd say if you got to get to some objective really fast, that's the mode to go in. So what I will do is I'll just place some basic Blitz dice behind a few of these guys. I'm going to put them all right now currently in walker combat mode, so their wheels have been retracted, they're just jogging around. I'll do the same with the north side. You place these behind there again so you can keep track of what that gear did, because that will affect if he's hit or if he will hit anything he's shooting at. And TIm sells those in a set of 5. You can get them here at miniwargaming.com. So for the sake of simplicity, we'll say we're on turn 2. We'll start by rolling initiative. The dice mechanics of this is that you're going to be rolling 1 or more dice for whatever action. And what TIm has done, they look at what the skill level of the gear and what kind of training he has. If he's a recruit, he's going to be rolling 1 dice. If he is a regular trained, he's going to be rolling 2 dice, and he's going to take the highest value of those 2 dice. If he's a veteran, he's going to be rolling 3 dice, and he will choose 1 dice, the highest value, and that will be the roll. Or if he's elite, he'll roll 4. If you roll multiple 6s, every 6 that you roll is another +1. So if I rolled 4 6s, I would have rolled a 9. If that makes any sense, you take the highest roll, and each 6 is a +1. Okay? That's the basic mechanics. So we'll say that the South has gone first. They've won initiative for this, so I will start with, let's say, the commander gear. I've split this into 2 squads, 2 demi-squads for the sake of the game, and I will choose this group to move first. So I choose a gear, and I decide I'm going to go with my commander. Now I can do my combat action anytime during my movement action. So first I'm going to decide what speed I'm going to be operating at, and I will stay at Walker Combat. Walker Combat, on these little cards you get when you purchase, if you can see that without the reflection, when you purchase a squad or any kind of blister, they come with a combat card. It's got all the information on it. I just went and highlighted a few things for simplicity. That's a typical Jaeger. I want the command Jaeger with the medium autocannon. I'm going to start with his movement. He can move in Walker Combat speed, he can move 4. So I will just do a simple, really rudimentary, they don't teach you to do this in combat school, march forward straight at the enemy 4 inches, because that's how far he can move. I can shoot anytime I want during that movement, so if I was smart I would just pop out 2 inches, shoot, and then pop back, but I'm just going to show you I'm moving forward 2 inches and I'm going to fire. So he's a regular trained troop. He's going to roll 2 dice, and he rolls a 5 and a 4, so I will choose the highest. That's 5. I will add my modifier for my speed. I'm moving Walker Combat is a +0. Next I add my accuracy, light autocannon, 0. Range to target. My target range is less than 4 inches away, which puts me in medium range. Medium range is -1, so my 5 went down to 4. I'm sorry, that's short range. So he stays at 5. My mistake. He's at short range. Cover. Target is in the open, so it gives me a +1. So I'm up to 6. He's firing at the closest one here with the snub cannon. Now the defensive roll. The poor hunter on the other side that got surprised by this autocannon will now make his defensive roll. He rolls 2 dice because he's a regular trained troop. He rolled a 3. This hunter was at combat speed. Ground, he's got a -1 to defend. So he went from a 3 down to a 2. And the final, what did I say it was? It was the attacker rolled a 6, the defender rolled a 2. The difference is 4. That is what's called your margin of success. The higher your margin of success, the more damage you're going to inflict. So my margin of success is 4. I times that by the damage of a medium autocannon. It's times 10 damage. So margin of success of 4 times 10 is 40. I've done 40 damage to that hunter. I compare that to the armor of 15. That is more than 2 times the armor. His armor is listed here 15. I did 40 damage. It's more than 2 times 15. So I've inflicted 2 boxes of damage on him. With these blitz dice you get these little counters. And the hunter has sturdy, light, heavy, and critical damage boxes. So I did 2. So he lost his sturdy and he's taken light damage. So I'm going to put a yellow chit on him. You can put it right on there if you want. And he's taken light. If I had done 3 times, he would have been instantly killed. The next point of damage, he'll go to heavy damage, which would be an orange. And then if he takes another point after that, he'll go to critical. But whenever you score 3 times their armor, that's an instant kill. So that hunter took light damage. Let's change things up a bit. I'm going to take this guy here, and he wants to move in really close. So he's going to switch to his wheeled mode, okay, which is the arrow with the chevron. So now he's deployed his wheels on the bottom of his feet, and he kicks it up a notch. So his ground movement for I need a Jaeger. His ground movement for combat speed, which I'm going to go at, if it was at top speed, it would have a T on it. Only at combat speed is 6 inches. So he's just going to go on a straight line at 6. If he was going to move, if he's going to turn, he'd have to move so many inches forward before he turned. And he will move forward 6 inches at full speed. He decides he's going to use his light rocket pod against this damaged hunter. So we start by rolling my dice. 2 dice again because he is just a basically trained unit. He rolled a 4. We measure the range to target. Range to target is 3 inches. 3 inches for a light rocket pod. It's LRP 24. 3 inches puts him at short range. It's the second band there. Okay. Short range is a 0 modifier, so we stay at 4. Target's in the open, that's a +1 for me to hit, up to 5. Weapon accuracy, 4. There's the Jagger. Weapon accuracy for a light rocket pod, the ACC is -1. So I'm back down to 4 again. There's a lot of modifiers in here, but once you get it rolling, it's very easy to understand. And vehicle attack modifier, I am at ground movement, combat speed. That is my attack modifier is 0. Okay? So my final roll was a 4. This hunter will now defend. He rolls 2 dice. He rolled a 3. Vehicle defense modifier for a hunter at combat speed is 0. So he stays at the 3. So the final roll was 4 attack versus 3 defend, and that is a margin of success of 1. A light rocket pod does times 12 damage, the LRP 24, so 1 times 12 is 12. The armor of the hunter is 15, so I did not beat his armor rating, so those rockets just plink off his armor and he is fine. Let's skip ahead. Let's say he just moves it here. Let's go the other side now. Let's say now this damaged hunter here is really ticked off that he got shot at by these 2 Southern Gears, so he's going to turn around and plug one of these guys. He's got light damage and he was at combat speed, but he knows if he goes stationary, he can line up an aim shot and really take someone down. So he takes a big risk and he stops. He will now shoot at the closest one right here. For the sake of this game, I just want to show you one mechanic. Let's say he rolled double 6s, okay? He chooses the highest is 6. The other 6 gives him a +1. So he's actually rolled a 7. He checks his range to target. His range is 3 inches. So we started with range to target's 3 inches. For a snub cannon, that puts him in the short range band. So +0 for range modifier. Bless you. Cover in the open gives him another +1 because the target is in the open. He's up to 8. Weapon accuracy, snub cannon is -1. He's back down to 7. And his final modified roll is a 7. The hunter will now defend. Let's say he really blew it for the sake of argument and he rolled a 2. Okay, say his modified roll was a 2. 7 versus a 2 is a margin of success of 5. He hit him with the snub cannon, it's a big nasty cannon. 5 times 28, what's your math, boys? That's what's 140? 140 damage. That's close to 10 times 15 armor, so that would totally blow a hole in that Jaeger and he would have been just destroyed by a big nasty snub cannon shot. That's the basic mechanics of combat. There's lots more involved in it. You can get into melee, you can be throwing grenades, there's indirect fire, there's guided weapons, all kinds of really in-depth combat tactics you can involve in here. So combat is great. It flows, it's smooth, there's just a bunch of modifiers you have to learn, and it gets very quick after that. Now, the best thing I love about Heavy Gear is the scenario system and the objective system. It's not just simply lining up your armies and last man standing wins. There's a great objective system where you have to either scout out objectives, you have to get into people's deployment zones, you have to hold objectives, and it all depends upon how you've designed your army. What they have something called threat levels. If you're just a run-of-the-mill basic grunts that are patrolling the Badlands, or if you're an elite force. The more elite your unit is, the more elite your army is, the harder the objectives you have to accomplish. So whether you're just a basic camper style play where you sit back and shoot, or if you're a really aggressive player, you can tailor your army to whatever play style you prefer. And your objectives and then the things you need to accomplish to win the game will follow and match that. So that's your basic mechanics in a nutshell. That's a really fun game to play. Again, one of the best kept secrets in the wargaming world. I don't know why more people don't play this game. I really enjoy it. It's the best sci-fi mass robot combat system that I've found. It's called Heavy Gear Blitz. You can find it here at Mini Wargaming Store. It's Fireman Tim saying check it out.
Visit miniwargaming.com to see our videos 1 month early.